All right, so wonderful. Good morning, good evening, everybody who has joined the session with us right now for DevOps. All right, so a little bit about ourselves first. Welcome to the session to learn the technology and how to explore a career in DevOps. My name is Rama Goyal and I'm the CEO and founder of GoToFastLane. We are an organization based out of Canada, headquartered in Canada, and that's where I live as well. And our specialty is into services implementation and providing training solutions to organizations and students. While in this journey, we are taking this journey forward ourselves, and a lot of you on this session today are aware of our journey of taking this across the borders from Canada and US over to overseas regions of Africa and regions of India. Several of you are also aware of multiple sessions that we have conducted for universities in India, in the North Indian region, Central India, South India region. And this is one of the webinars in the same series. And I thank you, all of you, for taking time to participate in this webinar today and see and explore what's out there. Until we explore, we do not know what is out there for us in any of the technology space. So thank you so much for your participation. As a representative of GoToFastLane, I want to thank my team at the outset for putting this together and arranging everything for this webinar. Plus, I also would like to thank our advisor, whose name is also there on the slide, whose name is Abhi, who has been mentoring and advising me in this journey of being an entrepreneur, which is never an easy journey. It's a big decision and a big risk of being able to leave a very comfortable job and start your journey as an entrepreneur. So thank you, Abhi, for your mentorship in every capacity that you have done. I also want to thank Prashant, who is the trainer for the DevOps course and is a very reputed and skilled trainer with an industry expertise. He has been working he has a huge career in multinational organizations in India and has now taken into a new venture of training students and professionals. So along with that, I also want to thank all the HODs of several educational institutes who have made this possible for me to be able to stand in front of you and conduct a webinar for the students in India and other regions. So thank you so much for all your participation. With those notes, I would like to dive deep into the webinar and get started with what we have to share with you today. At any point during this webinar, if you have a question, please paste that into the chat window, and one of our team members, will be Bhavna or Abhi, will be able to take it up and at an appropriate point and stop the speakers from and pause the speakers, and we can take your questions. So diving deep into, and this is a slide that will come back towards the end of the presentation to tell you what we have for you. If any one of you has any love for technology and want to take it to the next level, DevOps is your solution. Data science is your solution. AI, ML is your solution. So DevOps is one of those solutions which is going to increase your love for technology and is worth exploring. What GoToFastLane has come up with is a very unique curriculum for those students and professionals who want to not only start their careers, but also want to switch their careers into the field of DevOps. We have designed a very specific curriculum which will cover DevOps framework, basics of cloud architecture, Java. Some of you who have attended our previous sessions and also watched our YouTube channel, which is GoToFastLane, on YouTube, you have already gone through our webinars and curriculum on course, on cloud, especially Oracle Cloud and Amazon Cloud. So those concepts will be added and in an advanced state in this particular course, along with CICD, DevOps tools, Kubernetes, name it, and what you need for DevOps is what we give you. But are you convinced enough? I'm not convinced, right? I want to understand more about DevOps and whether I'm making the right investment. So as GoToFastLane is very popular for thinking for the other person, we don't think about ourselves. Our primary interest is your interest. And in the same spirit, we will give you details about DevOps. So jumping right into what is the agenda for today's webinar, we will start with a quick introduction about the speakers, followed by some concepts and understanding of the need for DevOps. What does the demand and supply framework looks like for DevOps? What are the job requirements and expectations from a DevOps engineer, from a DevOps consultant, from a DevOps marketing person? Can you even imagine how technology is now tightly integrated with marketing? Right? We'll also talk about learning roadmap and the methodology that we will adopt at Go to Fastlane. No, none of our presentations are complete without WIFM, right? And those of you who have attended our sessions earlier and also watched our videos on YouTube know that what's in it for me is the pivotal piece. And that is a methodology and a philosophy that we propagate a lot, because it is important not only while you are working with us, but also in any space that you are in your life. It is very important for you to be able to protect your interests. Next agenda item is to understand how you can actually get rewarded while learning, followed by a great technical session by our esteemed speaker today of the session, who is Prashant Beniwal. He will walk us through the technical concepts of DevOps and also do a demo on the CICD pipeline. He's the one who's going to talk about what is CICD. So he's going to also talk to you about what is the learning roadmap, where he will take you from where you are today to a point where you can call yourself a successful DevOps engineer. Right, a quick introductions over here, moving into the slide number 3. For those who are watching the screen, I'm on slide number 3, which talks a bit about myself, which you can also read on our website, which is gotofastlane.ca. And second part of the slide talks about Abhi. Abhi, may I please request you to give a short introduction of yourself, please?
Thank you, Rama. Thank you, everyone. I'm basically alumni from Nagpur. So that's where I want to start all the things for Nagpur. And we have come up with this plan for our fresh graduates. And this course, what we are going to present to you, just go through that. And you can see, like, what is going to be there in the future and how DevOps can help you to get into the IT. And it will be a smooth journey. Whomsoever has attended our earlier session, this is within the series. So thank you for joining again. Over to you, Rama.
Thank you, Abhi. Few names to call out who are not on the slide and are a part of our dynamic team. One is Prashant, the other is Bhavna. Prashant is a trainer. He's a principal technical trainer with us who will be taking you through the course of DevOps with his industry expertise and academic experience. Bhavna, who is our marketing expert, is also our business development consultant who was recently onboarded in our India team. So we're very happy and proud to onboard our employees in India. So it gives me a great pleasure when onboardings happen in other regions apart from where I operate from. So thank you to my team members. Other organizations which is not called out on the slide is Cognitive Analytics. Go to Fastlane has partnered with Cognitive Analytics, which is a training provider and a services solution provider based out of Nagpur region. So Go to Fastlane has partnered with Cognitive Analytics in the space of trainings and providing very relevant IT trainings and solutions to students. Our focus of this collaboration is solely to ensure that we can upskill and upskill the students in the Nagpur region and Central Indian region with a starting point of Nagpur, where we operate from, and take them to a point where they are very successful in the IT industry and they can speak for the name of the region and for the country. So there is no reason for a student coming from a tier 2 city to feel that they cannot compete with students from Mumbai or Delhi or Bangalore. So this is where we are bringing the state-of-the-art facility for the students as part of our collaboration with Cognitive Analytics, and also the technology expertise of what we get here from the North American region. So thank you to all those people, and quick introductions and there. Moving to the next slide, which talks about DevOps in demand. This is a slide which was an eye-opener for me when this was put together, is that there is so much of demand globally for DevOps. And this is something, what you see on the slide is a quick snapshot of DevOps job requirements from LinkedIn. As you see, this is specific for each of the regions. Did a quick pivots on India, US, and EMEA region. Look at the job opportunities that you have here. 20,000 open jobs at any point of time. 58,000, 49,000 job vacancies of multiple roles across this keyword of DevOps. Imagine the power of having this keyword in your resume. You are at least going to come up in the algorithms of 23,000 job openings in India, likewise 57,000 in Europe, Middle East, and Africa. So the potential of DevOps is huge, and that is what each one of you has to understand, that it's extremely important for you to stay relevant in the technology, whether you are a fresh graduate or you have been in the industry for 15, 20 years. And that is the reason here that you see people like us who have more than 15, 20 years of experience, be it myself or Prashant or Abhi. We are constantly upgrading our skills to make and stay relevant in the IT industry, and that's extremely important. One question that I often get over here is why only DevOps? DevOps is also very lucrative in its job offers. I was doing a marketing webinar for our African region, and we learned from our surveys there that a DevOps engineer has a potential of increasing the job salaries by 225%, up to 225%, and that's a huge salary jump. So a DevOps engineer can earn anywhere between $109,000 to $179K, which is a huge potential of huge earning potential for any candidate. It's worth investing your time into a technology which is so highly in demand, not only in a particular job area, but globally. It also helps you expand your horizons and wings into other regions. So it's very important that you all understand that what you are learning today in this webinar and what Prashant will walk you through in the technical session is a really hot technology trend, which you should learn and latch onto right now instead of waiting for later. Look at the job requirements that we have for DevOps. And this is what is picked up for India region for a DevOps engineer. Look at the skills that's needed: Ansible, Python, CICD pipeline, Linux frameworks, NoSQL, evaluation of emerging technologies. So recruiters and organizations right now are not only looking for your technical skills, but they're also looking for your interest in being able to learn. For example, this particular job opportunity is for Apple. Apple is known for its constant innovation. It's very difficult for them to hire a person who doesn't constantly upgrade their IT skills. Let's look at another one from a consulting organization. So this is an example from Amazon, right? So over here, Amazon provides products, but Amazon also provides consulting services. Let's look at, and this particular opportunity is for their consulting wing. Let's look at what they need. They're looking for an expertise in cloud, but look at the opportunities that they give you. If you know AWS, great. But if you know Azure, Google, any cloud experience, and that's why I always insist in our videos, please go back and watch our videos on YouTube on cloud concepts, because cloud concepts are same across all the cloud vendors. So, and it's very important for you to learn those basics and build on those basics, right? Other requirements of this job are AWS, DevOps framework, certifications. Please keep in mind, and we'll talk in a couple of slides about the certifications as well. It's very important to understand that. Next is SDLC and Agile. So this is something that Prashant is going to talk to you in detail shortly. Next is integrations. Yes, how do you integrate the two siloed systems? Two black boxes need to talk to each other, and how do they talk to each other, right? So integration framework, integration pipeline, the data pipe, it's very important. Not only the data pipe, but also how the flow of integration of the two systems happen, irrespective of the technology, whether you use Oracle technologies, whether you use MuleSoft, or you use native architectures of integration. What is important is that you need to understand the basics. You need to have a foundation to build upon. So these are the requirements and expectations of any job, which is in the space of DevOps, right? And these are the job requirements which are very consistent in any organization which is looking to innovate and hire dynamic people, people who are not just the doers, right? Are not the people who just follow a task list, but people who want to give ideas and implement those ideas and take the organization to the next level. And that's what all of us aspire for, right? One thing that I have done very strategically in my career is to work on strategy. And it has helped me a lot to understand the difference between a tactical element of work and a strategic element of work. And I learned it very late that it's an important skill. I request all of you to learn from our mistakes and do not commit your mistakes. Do not do those mistakes. Do not delay. Take the decisions now to be a successful person. Whether you start from a 0 doesn't matter, or you're starting from 1. What is important is that your end goal is to become a hero, right? So what is the learning roadmap that we have at Go to Fastlane carved out for you in our collaboration with Cognitive Analytics? We have carved out a course which is spanning for about 120 plus hours, covering 8 modules, taking you to a point where you can not only expand, but also be able to directly get a job in the IT industry. Let's spend some time on this slide and see what the modules look like, right? We are going to teach you about advanced Java concepts. Even if you know the basics of Java, that's great. If you do not, we will find out mechanisms to ensure that you understand the prerequisites of this course. It could be via videos, it could be via one-on-one sessions, it could be via reading materials, but the team of Go to Fastlane will assist you in learning the prerequisites so you do not get lost in the classes. So we have dedicated modules around advanced Java, cloud concepts, CICD pipeline, the tools of DevOps, Docker containerization, Kubernetes, how the whole framework works, databases. Go back to your slide of job requirements. They wanted a relational and a non-relational database, right? GitHub, Jenkins, front-end modules, and then ultimately your path to succeeding in terms of your career and certifications. If you look at this course, the way this course is built, you can do this course and take the advantage of this course in a whole set. But at any point, if you learn some modules, you have already taken your knowledge of IT to another level that you can already enhance your resume and start applying for those relevant jobs. For example, if you have learned about advanced Java, cloud, in cloud, since we also will talk about network elements, components, and security elements of cloud, now you've already opened up avenues to find a job in that space, right? So it's always good to self-evaluate yourself. Even though I have jumped into this field of entrepreneurship, I still go to my recruiter friends to interview for a lot of jobs, even though I do not want to apply. I mean, of course, I'm in my entrepreneurial journey, but that is what keeps you on your toes to understand what you lack. So what this course will do at a minimum is that every module, it gives you an opportunity to upskill and evaluate. We will also come to how we will evaluate, and allow me to go to the next slide, which will talk to you about our methodology. No denying to the fact that this is first of its kind, a unique program which offers you an opportunity to learn this kind of technologies sitting at home in an online world or in an offline mode. We also have a state-of-the-art facility sponsored by Cognitive Analytics in Nagpur, where the students can actually go and visit and use our labs to conduct working sessions or workshops or the assignments. But at the same time, we also have support framework online available. Next point, which is important, is that all of our sessions are going to be based on 100% hands-on real life projects. What you will get at the end of this journey is an assured internship, which will make you very comfortable in being able to execute an IT project, right? We also focus on multiple evaluations. As I just said, right? Evaluating yourself puts you at the right place, keeps you grounded, and also makes you understand what you lack. So multiple evaluations every 2 weeks, whatever is covered in 2 weeks, we will ask you to either present that content or come up with a quiz, or we will quiz you and you will have to write an exam every 2 weeks. So it will be a constant DevOps model of learning that we have implemented for all of you. We'll talk about the certificates in a bit. Staying on the learning methodology, the course is very customized to make online learning very effective. It spans for about 120 hours, close to around 3 months. We will give you small bits of information for about 2 to 3 hours every day, which will let you absorb, go back, think, and come back to us with the questions. Another unique feature that we are coming up in this particular course is that we will have master classes by industry experts, which could be the likes of Prashant and others, who will share their knowledge of how they implement DevOps in the industry projects. It will get you started on your expectations in a job as a DevOps engineer. And lastly, a very unique thing is that we have very carved out model of doubt clearing sessions, which is focused only on Q&A. And our experts and senior technical training staff will be available to talk about your questions and help solve those problems. Continuing on the learning methodology, and this is by far my favorite slide, which is WIFM, what's in it for me, right? As I started the session saying that it's very important for each one of us to protect our interests. Protecting your interests never means sabotaging anyone else's interests, right? So keep that in mind, and you'll be professionals or students. This bit of advice from my mentor in my early career has gone a long way with me. So let's look at what's in it for you in the sessions. It's an opportunity to learn from the experts. Where else will you, especially students from Nagpur and Central India, get an opportunity to learn from industry experts from across the globe? In the regions of Africa, I also want to highlight about our partners in Africa who are also enrolling for this course. Where else do you get an opportunity to learn from people in North American region who are actually implementing these projects, right? And share that knowledge and work with you to make you successful. So it's a great opportunity for you to learn from the experts, and it's important for you to leverage and latch onto that opportunity. Next point is what I left from the previous slide, which is on the technical certificates. So as we evaluate you across each of the modules, we will also provide you certifications at a logical point. So these are the certificates which are verifiable certificates to demonstrate your level of knowledge in a particular skill. So advanced Java clouds, I'm just making up right now, the execution of the course and the sequence is best discussed by our trainers at the beginning of the course. Let's take an example that you complete the DevOps tools, Docker's containerization, Kubernetes program module with us. We will be able to issue you a certificate that you can tag along in your resume, and you can also share on your social media with the recruiters in your college, with your organizations. And those certificates can also be verified independently by the hiring organization, by your recruiters, by your friends and family as well. So this is something that's of extreme value for any student or any professional looking out to change their careers. A piece of paper speaks a lot about what you know in that technology. Assured internship or a capstone project is a unique feature that will let you understand how the projects are implemented in the real world. Next, interestingly enough, over here, we also provide you help to get placed. Given our experience in industry and network in the industry, just take a quick example, right? Between me and Abhi, we have at least 20,000 connections in LinkedIn whom you can leverage if you would like to. So the same thing goes here, right? So we will actually help you get connected with those people and help you in your journey to get placed in the IT industry, right? While doing that, we not only connect you to the right people, we help you get prepared for the interviews for your resume. We also provide you content that's good for your resume and also provide you help in clearing those interviews if they're appropriate for you. On-job support, very interesting point over here. Very common challenge, not only among students, but also professionals. When you're on a job, you're stuck and you have a deliverable to be delivered next day. What do? You are new to the technology. we will also provide you on-the-job support. And for details, I would request you to contact our team by writing to us at info@gotofastlane.ca or support@gotofastlane.com. So if you just look at everything that we do everything very differently and very original. So we have 2 domains maintained for each one of you to go ahead and contact us the way you want, right? So always make your work easy for others, not for yourself, because that's what's going to get you success. So you will be able to make the job of your recipients, your organization, your manager easy if you know the technology very well. And that's what you do in this course. You learn the technology as it is needed in your jobs, because time is very important. So we have taken the time to carve out a course that's relevant for you. And that's what we'll get you. And that's what will get you to a path for industry-wide certifications, be it in Python, Kubernetes, AWS. And not to forget, we have several learning credit opportunities in our program, which is very exciting and very new to a lot of training academies and institutions. Again, because we are not a training provider, we are an enabler of IT and technologies. So it's a great opportunity for you to learn and earn. May I request Abhishek to please walk us through this slide?
Rama, I think we have a question from Augustus Wilson. He wants to know, like, again, can you explain the verifiable technical certificate as well as how you can help them in on-job support? So I think Wilson is from Duke University. So see, like, they want to know more about.
Yes. Yep. Yes. Thanks, Wilson, for that wonderful question. So verifiable technical certificates are the okay, let me go back to the way I give analogies, right? So when you're doing any course in Duke University, for example, right? You're enrolled for the bachelor's program, undergraduate program, and you complete first year, right? You get a piece of paper, which is a certificate that tells you that, yes, it is from Duke University. And there is a golden watermark at the end of the certificate, at the bottom of the certificate, that stamps that it is indeed from Duke University. Second, you are the right person who has received it. Third, you are the right person for this particular course, correct? What do you do with that certificate? You take that certificate over to your mom and dad, right? Again, I don't know what your experience is, but if you're a student, you would take it back home to your guardians. And that is what proves that you have completed this course, right? And you were not really not working or not studying in the university, right? So likewise, if you're a professional, you take that certificate and demonstrate to the recruiters what you have, right? What you know in a particular technology. So what we do in this course, as part of this course, is also very similar. So we will give you barcode-enabled certificates at the end of those modules, as we consider logically collated together and logically put together as part of our training curriculum. We will give you certificates that can be scanned and verified as your certificates by contacting our offices. They can write to us. Your verifiers can also scan and directly send us a note, which will enable us to verify your skill level and also provides you a job reference of being certified in a particular technology. To your second question on the on-job support, as I said, let me give an example of people that I hire new, right? So they always need help. If they're professionals, they can still find their way out. And if you're from Duke University, right, I'm assuming you're still a student. So when you do a freelancing work at Upwork, right, or a plural site, so what you need is sometimes you get into a problem, and what you do, you pick up the phone and you call somebody and say that, hey, you know what, I'm stuck here. Do you have any ideas, right? This is exactly what we do. We provide you phone a friend support on your job. If you are stuck doing a clone, if you are stuck building a pipeline, if you are stuck deploying a piece of code, we will provide you that kind of a support. And for more details on how that support is provided, what is the duration, what price point does it come with, please write to us at info@gotofastlane.ca or support@gotofastlane.com, and Wilson will provide you more details.
Thank you, Rama. Thank you. Thank you.
Do you want to take the slide for us?
Yeah, yeah. And I think as Rama has already explained about the uh, project, as well as we have come up with this unique idea of reward. Like if the three or more students enroll through with your reference, we are going to refund your fees for this course, or we can award 100% learning credits, which you can utilize for the other course which we are going to offer. Second thing is refer to. If you are going to refer two students, we are going to refund 50% of your fees of the current course, and we can award you 75% learning credits, which you can utilize for the any other course which you can do with us. So these are the three models. Please go through that. And I think this is very beneficial. In fact, if two of the friends you are going to join, definitely you can share those learning credits. Can we go to next slide, please? Yeah, this is regarding how you can contact us. We have an office in Tech Infinity Tower, Nagpur, and you can write back to us to support@gotofastland.com, as well as info@gotofastland.ca. We will provide you the phone number, everything. You can also subscribe to our Go to Fastland channel. And this is the website for us, www.gotofastland.ca. We have Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram. We have offices in Canada, Kenya, US, and we are shortly going to come in UK. So guys, this is a good opportunity. And believe me, we are into IT from the last 25 years. And this is going to be the future, DevOps, and we are trying to bring you the best, right? I'm going to introduce you my principal trainer, Mr. Prashant Banival. He is one of the best in this industry. He has worked as an ex-director for Amdocs, and he knows the system in and out. And we will try to bring some of the masters of this industry during our master classes. So over to you, Prashant. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Abhi. Yeah, hi. So thanks, Rama. So I hope you can hear me well.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Okay, so let's see. So guys, my name is Prashant Beniwal, and you've already heard about my introduction from Rama. So thanks for that. So I will not spend too much time on it, but basically I have 20 years of experience, and I'm the principal technology trainer for Go to Fastlane. And these 20 years, I have been part of the telecom company and IT telecom sector. So whatever next few minutes I'm going to spend is, we would like to show you a quick demo of how our program is based on experiential based learning and not just theoretical concepts, as Rama has already explained. So I would be spending few minutes and few slides on kind of setting up the context for the thing. So let me see if you can see the video, right? Let me the audio. Let's see. Okay, hold on. Let me share my screen. Okay, so let's see. So guys, this is the first slide for today. Of course, I am very much a firm believer of that. Whatever we learn, the learning happens when you experience it. Just by considering or hearing theory, it is good to spend some time on setting the context, which I will do as today also in this demo. The first few minutes I will spend on just setting the context of what is DevOps all about. And after that, I will switch very soon to a technical demo where we will show you a real DevOps in action. So basically, just to give you a background, the whole methodology of software used to be what we call waterfall way back in 2000 or somewhere. Till that point, things used to happen in a very, very defined fashion, that you had a fixed planning phase of a month or two, you had a fixed design phase, you had a fixed development and then testing. And eventually after anything between 3 to 6 months of this development life cycle, depending on the complexity of the project, things were getting what we call deployed, which means taking things to production. And as humanity, I believe we were very patient at that point of time, way back in the 90s and 2000, where people could wait for months for new functionality, the business team or whatever. But eventually it was realized that IT was becoming a bottleneck, and things needed to move faster. So around 2001, a new methodology was developed to make things move faster, which is called Agile. Around 2001, they came up with their manifesto. So again, to cut the long story short, what Agile tried to do was to reduce the development cycle per se so that things can reach to production faster. So whatever was taking something like 3 to 6 months in waterfall, kind of Agile tried to solve it in whatever ways it could by continuous development cycles to 2 to 3 weeks of time, whether using sprints concept or Kanban, and a lot of sub methodologies of Agile were called. But eventually it was realized that it reduced the development cycle to quite some extent, but beyond a point, it was still a bottleneck where it was a question of taking things to production, because the team which was taking care of the production system was very keen on seeing to it that things don't go unstable. And also we saw that Agile kind of resolved the problem of what waterfall was taking in months to weeks. But there were two problems with it. One, the deployment side was not taken that much into account, or what we call the operations, which we will talk about it, the ops team, which is a technical term which industry uses. They were somehow left out of Agile. And also, it was eventually realized that even weeks is not sufficient, because as humanities, or as our progress is happening, we are expecting things to go even faster. I always give this example whenever we are having this context setting of what is DevOps all about. Is in 90s, I remember in India, the player, which there was only one player for landlines, which is called BSNL. And when my father applied for a connection way back in 90s, in interest of time, I'm not going to ask this question. But if anybody, we ask this question, that how much time do you think will it take, you believe that if I go and walk into a show, there was no showrooms then, the office, the government office of the BSNL, which is the only company, and no mobiles, I'm talking about landlines, the waiting time for a connection, in wildest guesses, people come up with 6 months, 9 months, sometime somebody says a year, depending on how much they have, how old they are. But believe me, the time was anything between 5 to 7 years also, where people needed to wait for that long before they could get the connection or the landline in their home. Versus last few months, I remember before this COVID time, when I went to a local showroom, I belong to Pune, Maharashtra, and the idea is the popular operator here. A mother and a kid walks into, while I was there for some other problem with my idea phone, and the kid got a new phone for whatever reason, a 10-year-old kid. And the mother was buying a connection for him, a prepaid connection, and the operator at the center gave the SIM to the kid, and the kid immediately put the SIM inside the phone. And the operator said that, sir, this will take like 15 minutes to half an hour to get activated. And I could see the uneasiness on the kid's face, and he had a smart watch, and he wanted to put a timer for that 30 minutes or 15 minutes, whatever the person quoted. While I was thinking of my time, where even 5 years we were not questioning. So coming back to where we are today, we need things like, we talk about any player like Netflix or, Google of the world or Amazons of the world. They are introducing new features every minute or every few minutes or even few times a minute. So there, the methodology that is being required, waterfall surely cannot help. Even Agile could not help them to reach frequency of deploying things to production within minutes. Of course, we are not talking here about big releases going every minute, but about small changes. So it is all about, the DevOps is a methodology which is all about breaking all the silos between the different teams which are part of the software development cycle. So as part of that, there is a component which could be soft aspects and how the teams are managed and all that. And there is a big component of how the tools and the processes can be changed. So our course as Rama already explained and Abhi also touched, is highly focused on experiential based development as to how it can. We will take a capstone project. We will make you experience the whole development software lifecycle with the eyes of DevOps in the scene where there is a smooth collaboration. So we will make you experience this continuous. Everything is continuous here, because there is nothing that can be faster than continuous. And in general, the crux of the whole thing is automating everything that you can think of. Of course, to some point, development has to be still done manually. We have not yet reached with AI and ML. Maybe someday, even with a design document, development can happen automatically. But right now, we are at least focusing on that. If a developer develops the code, immediately it should get built. Immediately, a feedback can go back if there is a failure. So our test cases become code with frameworks of unit testing. Our build process becomes automated with concept of continuous integration using tools like Jenkins. Continuous testing happens whether through JUnit, TestNG, or Selenium frameworks, and continuous deployment using tools like Dockers and Kubernetes, which are very popular on their own and highly, highly in demand. So we have looked at all the modules and all the tools and tried to pick up the most popular ones because there are plethora of tools for implementing. And eventually there is continuous monitoring happening, which means anything going wrong proactively, things can be checked and notification being sent proactively to different. So we will make you experience what we call a CICD pipeline and a CT pipeline and whatever we call. So basically, the main building blocks, as the name suggests, the development team and the operations team. But remember, even though the term coined was for dev and ops, but even other teams, whether it is the testing team or the QA team, they are either encompassed. We call it the left side of the house and the right side. So right side is more focused towards production and the later on support, and left side is more towards the development and anything before development, whether it is design or planning and everything. That is part of the left side of this house. So with tools and practices of DevOps, you can break the silos and everything becomes code, whether it is deploying your infrastructure, whether it is monitoring. So you will see that it will be, everything would be code because we need an automated solution, because the moment something is manual, there is a dependency and there is a risk that it will get delayed. There is a chance of doing mistake. Of course, once even it is automated using DevOps practices, there are people needed to keep it on and active, because remember, the IT systems are under tremendous change all the time. New features are getting introduced to kind of stay ahead of competition and all. It's not a stable system we are talking here. And that is why the dev and ops collaboration is required heavily, heavily in the industry, without which it is tough for any company to survive these days. When we talk about, let's say Jio comes to India and suddenly come up with a plan of whatever, a reduced rate, Idea or Airtel of India has to kind of compete with it. I have managed US customers also. So there I could see AT&T versus T-Mobile US competing, and one person coming up with a plan and with number portability. It's a problem that if the other operator would not immediately do the relevant changes or something ahead of time, they will lose on the competition and maybe lose their existing customers also. So efficiency becomes the key. Reproducibility becomes the key, which means anything that you're doing, it's not dependent on that you don't know what is there. So it has to be very, very predictable all the time. Not that you have things go down and you don't understand what's happening. So it has to be very, very maintainable. And it cannot be that in general, there is a thing which is called that development and operations. It's like they call it throwing over the wall, which means development is done with their job. And now it is operations or the production support people's problem, which was working in against the philosophy of, faster development, because then ops was always blocking development from putting new things in production. And this is exactly the wall which DevOps is trying to break. So with this background, I think there is a question there, or what exactly? Let me see in the chat.
No.
Okay.
Prashant, it's good. It's a message
Okay.
from me.
Okay, guys. So I think with this background, if you have any questions, we will give you time after this. But of course, I will just quickly try to show you a very small demo of the whole thing in the spirit of our experiential based learning, so that you can see what you can expect. So you would make something, of course, a much more complicated DevOps implementation as part of your project and the learning, but at least we will take this opportunity. Give me 5 minutes, I will show you that how a small problem I will take in front of you right now. I will do the development of it. I will try to create a small problem also, which I will show you how the DevOps practices and tools can catch. And I will give you this. So basically the gist of it is this, that we will try to show you a small DevOps pipeline. The underlying tools technology which we will use is, of course, GitHub on the left side, more for which is our repository management tool, which means we are storing our code in GitHub. We have Jenkins, which is the CI tool, which is kind of the heart of the whole system. And we will show you that the moment I will push a small change to my code base, which is based out of a tool called GitHub, a compile or a Maven process will get triggered by Jenkins, which will compile the code. Some kind of a unit testing will happen automatically, and then the program of Java will get packaged into, we have a small web war program, which kind of is a very small calculator implementation, and eventually it gets deployed into some kind of a running process of Docker. So basically it is like a small DevOps pipeline, or what we call a CI/CD pipeline. So the left side of it is more in the development house of it, which is still unit test. And eventually the right side, we are trying to give you a feeling of how a continuous deployment is going to happen. Because nowhere we are saying that in a real enterprise world, this simple pipeline can do the trick. But of course, a much more step-based pipeline will be there. But you have to build on top of such a simple pipeline. It's always considered good for learning. You start with small steps, and eventually you can expand it to any level of complexity depending on whichever organization or whatever project you are working on. So with this background, let me quickly show you that this is our GitHub repo. It is already made, as I promised you. There is a calculator program. We have already created 4 jobs in Jenkins. I will try to show you the logs when they will get triggered, but we have already created kind of a view. In interest of time, we are not creating it right now, but as part of this program, each of you would experience this in the relevant environment where you will need to start from scratch. We will guide you as part of the process, and of course assignments will be given after every module. So like in this, Maven would be used, in this JUnit would be used, in this Docker is being used, in this Tomcat is being used. So we will also work in a similar way in the real program where a Spring Boot based Java application would be taken, and you will build a similar pipeline. And I have taken even a concept of what is called a webhook, which means basically from your repository in GitHub, with the settings and everything, I have made it sure that the moment I push any code as a developer to this repository, which is, let's say I am running a company which has a calculator app. Okay, it is a website which looks something like this. Okay, I can add any 2 numbers like 2 and 4. And on purpose for this demo, we have kept a program very simple. It kind of does the operation that we want to do. So this is all our website about. And all this is happening through a CI/CD process. So let me show you the power of it. Okay, so I have opened the source code in a integrated development environment, IDE Eclipse.
Prashant?
So, yes, Rama.
Prashant, not sure if it's just me. I cannot see your demo screen. I'm stuck on the demo PPT. Please confirm.
Let me see screen share. So let me, guys,
yes, we can see it now.
Okay, so guys, this is so we have this pipeline on which we will be working right now. This is the repo of the calculator. I hope, Rama, could you please confirm if you can see it now?
Yes, we can. Yes. Thank you.
Okay, so guys, this is the repository which we have, and quickly let me show you the concept of the webhook. All this is part of the program where you will do all this, but I will just quickly show you that we have everything in place. This is the final application, what it looks like. It's a small app just for the demo. In the real program, we will make a much more complex app using Spring Boot and some kind of a NoSQL DB and everything complexity, whatever we can. But for this demo purpose, we have created a small pipeline. And let me now quickly show you that let's say a requirement comes for some kind of a code change. And just to make the code change a bit more pictorial, I will try to let's give you a flow of that. The developer was asked to change the background from whatever this color called aqua to green. Okay, so let me quickly show you from code point of view. Of course, as a developer, the person should know where he or she is changing. So I just change something. Let's say I change the background color. And just to give you a feeling of what a continuous integration means, let's say the developer, while doing some kind of a code change somewhere or understanding the requirement correctly, I will just create additional problem just also for compilation. So I was doing the add functionality as a developer and I happen to do a coding mistake, and without realizing, let's say if I push it. So I would like to show you how this is going to get caught. Okay, this mistake, whether by a developer or whatever, let's say I have done these changes. They are wrong in nature. One, first of all, it is not correct Java code. So let's see our pipeline at what point. This is the real DevOps in action. Let's see at what point it will be getting caught. You see, I'm not triggering anything. I'm just refreshing the screen to show you the real CICD in action. Okay, so the Jenkins. So what happened the moment I pushed the code to the GitHub repository, automatically my pipeline got triggered, and you see the very first job failed. And how did it fail? If I will try to look at the logs of it, I will see that it will say expected semicolon at some point. So there is a problem in the code. It is even telling me a line at what line number and what point. So immediately a notification will go in a real system through mail or whatever to the relevant developer. So what the developer will do, he or she will go to the relevant line of code and let's say fixes the code. Still the problem with the logic is there. Okay, we will show you in the very next step. So what I did, I fixed the coding problem and I say, okay, I have updated it. So let me commit. Okay, I'm done. Okay, as a developer, I thought I have done the code changes correct and I push this. Okay, so we are trying to show you a demo of how in a DevOps world, the development is happening. So now let me show you what will happen as part of webhook. A new pipeline is going to get triggered. Okay, let's see what happens. I don't do any, there is no manual intervention here. It is happening automatically. So compile went through this time as we expected because the semicolon problem of Java is removed. But let's see what happens in unit test. Okay, in the real time, we can see the logs also of what's happening in this job. We scroll down, it is going right now, and suddenly you will see the unit test failing. Okay, and you may realize, okay, why has it failed? Of course, in a real world, a mailer would go to the developer again because unit testing is in their area. So let's see where the problem is. You will clearly see a message here which will say problem with add function, expected 22 but was 23. If you remember, what problem did I create on purpose? Of course, I created on purpose, but this is a developer has done wrong of adding one extra thing while there were only two numbers needed to be added. And just to give you an idea of a unit testing, we did this. So how were we testing this code? I was passing 10 and 12 as my data, and I was expecting 22. But what will happen because of this +1? Basically a 23 will be returned, and that is exactly what I am seeing. Expected 22 but was 23. So immediately the notification goes to the developer. Accordingly, developer needs to correct his or her whatever the problem created, fix it. It gets code reviewed automatically. A lot of things can happen, guys, over and above whatever we are explaining. That's part of your learning during the program, whatever we can expose you based on real industry practices, what I have seen. And now, if everything goes well, we are expecting a new pipeline to get triggered. no manual intervention. And I will just, to give you the final thing about the demo, I will refresh this screen and you will see the background color becoming green, because remember that was the original requirement from where we started. So while we wait for the pipeline to get triggered automatically, the unit test will, it should pass through now. The packaging should happen and it should get delivered or deployed to our Tomcat application, and we should see the background color. So on the fly, without any manual intervention, developers just doing their piece in the code, and the magic is happening. But remember, this magic is not automatic and this is not one-time activity. Continuously, as DevOps engineers, there are people who need to manage different kind of pipelines for your development environments, for the production, for the staging, for the end-to-end. So it's a pretty complicated scenario, and that is why, as Rama showed us, so many thousands and thousands of jobs, because eventually this becomes the heart of the system. Everything is happening automatic, and as we can see while we were discussing, everything has went through. And let's see, if I refresh, if the background color changes. So basically this was exactly the requirement, and everything has been automatically checked, and kind of we quickly showed you a underlying tools, technologies. So many have been involved, where is Tomcat is there, Docker is there, to some extent Ansible is there. So YAMLs is coming into picture, a bit of shell script, JUnit, Java. So we can see only in this simple pipeline, 4 to 5 tools, technologies have been used. So this was a quick 5 minutes demo from my side, and we would like now to leave the time for questions. Rama or Abhi, if you have anything to add, please go ahead.
Thank you, Prashant. It was a wonderful demonstration and an overview of the DevOps technology. It definitely made me curious to learn more of DevOps and the mistakes that my team does in coding, and then leads to increased time that we have to consume, right, and spend weight on delivery of the project. So this is amazing. Thank you so much for sharing this information. And from the participants, if we have any questions, we'll be very happy to take those questions now. Otherwise, call it a day, and thank you so much for your participation.
You can unmute yourself and ask the question if you have. I think.
All right.
I think we are good.
Rama?
Yes, please.
So thought of asking this because I hear a lot of terms about continuous integration, continuous deployment, continuous delivery. Can you just provide an example and explain the concepts of this?
Okay, so I think this is a question more for me. So guys, again, this is the slide which you're talking about. So remember, we tried to show you a continuous integration. So integration is the name given to that when a developer is doing a code in his or her local, let's say like I am working in my Eclipse, but I am not the only developer. So that is why there is a centralized repository concept of, let's say, a GitHub. So the moment I push the code, immediately it gets integrated into the main source code, and it gets built with all the other modules or whatever is part of this repo, even though I have done a single line of code change. But using practices of continuous integration, immediately phases like a build, a unit test, and a final package getting created. This is the name, a technical name for this process is continuous integration. So by integration, I hope it becomes a bit more clear that you are integrating your code with other developers of the project. Because even though in local you are working in your own area, this is purely a localized version of Git and you are working in your own IDE, but eventually it is getting integrated and tested and code reviewed along with the whole project. And in the same way, continuous testing means either a bit of continuous testing we showed you as part of unit testing. Why it is called continuous? The moment any developer will push the code to this centralized repo, a testing phase gets triggered by a tool like Jenkins, which is the CI tool or the heart of the system, or a Selenium based testing can get invoked with different Chrome driver and whatever different applications. And continuous delivery or deployment, of course, there is a slight difference, but in interest of time, it is like making it reach some kind of an environment, whether that environment happens to be a system test environment or a user acceptance test environment or end-to-end, or maybe eventually all the way to production. That practice of continuously with every small change going through the CI, the continuous testing, and eventually getting continuously deployed using a tool like Jenkins is one of the popular tool which we also expose you as part of the program. This is the high level gist of CI, CD, CT, whatever you think of. I hope this clears your question.
Yes, just want to more about continuous delivery and continuous deployment. What's the difference, main difference?
So guys, deployment in general is a term which is used for when things are put into production, and delivery means any party other than development itself, but before production, you know. So at a high level, this is the difference which we consider as in general. By the way, industry uses sometime delivery also for deployment. So the problem is these terms are coined in a way that sometimes even you will see the continuous delivery being used interchangeably with deployment, even though from textbook definition point of view, continuous delivery is the term given to any environment production -1. Okay, that is what is called delivery. And if you are taking it automatically all the way to production environment, the real production, then only a textbook definition allows you to use the word continuous deployment, because that is deployment is kind of a term coined purely for real production system deployment. Okay, otherwise, of course, sometimes people say I deployed to my system test environment. You know, you can't deny, because deploy is an English word which means you are putting something. So even if you use it for a non-production environment, technically English wise you are not wrong, but pure textbook definition of DevOps, delivery is anything production -1 or -2 or -3 environment, and deployment is only and only for production. I hope that clears the difference between delivery versus deployment.
Yeah, thanks Prasad. Yeah, that's clears it. Thanks a lot.
By the way, this is Noor, right?
Yeah, yes.
Yeah, thanks, Noor. Thanks for the question. And one of the guy asked, like, you know, I think he has recently completed in diploma
in computer engineering.
Okay. Computer engineering. Yeah, can you just share your experience? Right, you can ask. You can unmute yourself and talk.
Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hi, sir. I just completed my diploma in computer engineering. And yeah, I'm waiting for my admissions to be done in direct secondary engineering. So I have a time of 2 to 3 months. So I have a fair knowledge about web dev, but I'm new to DevOps. So I wanted to know that is it the right time to enroll for the course, or I should first brush up my Java skills and then think about it?
So wonderful question, DJ. And I will take this question going back to the initial slides that we looked at, right? So, and I'm very glad that you actually have about 2 to 3 months of time to review and brush up on the concepts, right? So since you've just completed your diploma, waiting for a second year course, you have time. The best use of time will be to pick up a new technology like DevOps, right? Which is going to help you in your academics and also enable you to practice it again and again and be more resourceful when you come to actually hunting jobs. So I'm assuming from your question, you have at least 1 year, 1 to 2 years before you hunt for a job, but you can definitely learn this skill right now, right? Enroll for our first batch. And what we also encourage students, right, who enroll for our batches is that they can constantly learn with us at a reduced price or no cost at all. So you are allowed to enroll for the future batches also, again, to keep brushing up your skills, right? So it is absolutely the correct time for you to enroll right now. To brush up your Java skills, that is one of the prerequisites that we have for the course. And as I mentioned, we will be very happy to help you in your skills revamp or brushing up your skills that you know already or need for this course. So while you're already sitting at home and trying to brush up your skills yourself, why not take an advantage of partnering with us and learning from people who have been doing this for years? That would be my suggestion. And DJ, it's always very personal for every person, right, their situation. So I would encourage you to go through quick 15 minutes counseling session with us, right? If you write us your email address or send us a quick note at info@gotofastlane.ca or support@gotofastlane.com, one of us will schedule a 15-minute counseling session, which will be effective and applicable only to you, right? It will help us understand what time you have, what are your skills, what are your course, what are your scores, and create something which is packaged for you. Maybe it is not a good idea for you to do the entire course. Maybe it's a good idea for you to do a shorter part of the course, right? So we will be very happy to tailor the curriculum or, to suit your needs and see what makes sense for you to attend when.
Sure. Thank you so much.
Sure.
Any other thing, guys? I think let's give 1 or 2 more minutes, then otherwise we
While students are collecting their thoughts on the questions and participants are looking at what they will have more questions. And I encourage all of you to write back to us and inquire more about this course. As if Prashant, since you're sharing the screen, and you can go to the first slide, which talks about the whole course and the curriculum of the course, right? The curriculum of the course is, this course lasts for more than 120 hours. Right, so we have split this into multiple modules. You will get a lot more features with this course by learning with us. So when you're going to invest 100 to 120 hours, it is best for you to discuss what is right for you and when. We can assure you that you will get value for your time and money spent, and also value for what you are looking for. So we don't leave you at the course, right, or by giving you a certification. So those of you who have already been doing sessions with me and my team from the last 5 years know that I'm still mentoring the students that I coached 5 years ago, right? So that's how we work. We don't leave our students midway. So we don't leave our participants midway, be it professionals as well. So I have personally gone in and sometimes helped people in their job needs, right? So we are not going to leave you. So please go ahead and write back to us and inquire the details. When the course starts, what are the commercials of it? What are the benefits that we have to offer to you if you're located in Nagpur or if you're located in Nairobi? So these are the 2 regions for which we are giving special discounts, special promotional offers. So please write to us and inquire more as part of next steps of this course.
Rama, in addition to that, just try to explain them how our senior technology trainers can help them to pursue and doing the activity guides. That's one of the things where means like they really need the help.
Certainly, a very good point. So Prashant, being so experienced and in the industry, he will teach you a lot of concepts, demos. He will give you a lot of assignments. But his availability is also compromised. So we conducted several interviews before we could sign up Prashant. So respecting his time and availability, we have a support staff, which is also technical trainers and who do swap sessions for the technology training. So our senior technology trainers and our support staff will be available for you during your day hours to clarify your questions when you do the assignments. So whether you prefer to do the assignments online or you prefer to visit our facility in Nagpur or prefer to go to our associate partners at the Prosperity House in Nairobi, we will be able to help you. Our training staff will be able to help you solve your problems. Just like Prashant showed, right? That, oh, I don't know, I missed a semicolon there. I don't know, I can't figure out. No worries. There will be someone to help you figure out that, yes, you missed a semicolon and hence you are not able to proceed.
Absolutely.
It will help ease through the process of the difficult assignments that Prashant is going to give you. So he doesn't get mad at you next day. So that's the idea.
I think we
okay.
are good.
If there are no other questions, and Abhishek or Prashant, any closing comments?
No, I think nothing from my side.
Okay.
I think we are good.
All right. Thank you so much to everybody who attended this session, and thank you to all our collaborators and partners who sponsored this session. Prashant, thank you for doing this session for us. All of you have a good rest of your day, and look forward to talking to all of you. Thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah, thanks for a wonderful session. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.